Every church has it, every church has it.
Look, he's. Right?
We had hail.
My son's birthday, we didn't celebrate his birthday.
Yes. We'll just go on.
We had hail.
You already did these.
Yes, I'm more.
40-some%. So it's almost like every
There's one on the.
the last 27,000 bucks are all named listed as.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. He's trying to get a report.
Ready for your budget hearing, Dan? Okay, by the way, we are running a little bit late, but we are have a call order here for the public hearing for our budget. It's supposed to start at 6:45, but we got a little tight over with our executive session. So Dan, it's all you.
Okay, you've all received copies of the budget. I haven't, since it was posted on the internet, I haven't had any inquiries. I guess just to summarize, our revenues pretty much stay the same since we don't have any new levies bringing in any additional funds. So our revenues for 2027 are a little over, or roughly 4.7 million, and budgeted for 2027 in the general fund in terms of expenses are $944,734, which includes a 3% increase potential in wages, and an estimate of 5% healthcare expenses for 27. And I just got our medical mutual premium renewal, and it actually went up 6.5%. And I have $27,000 in contingencies for 2027 in the event we run short on any of our variable expenses. This year, we're going to finalize our motor vehicle fund purchase, so I will be transferring $55,427 into our capital fund for motor vehicles, which we should be purchasing, I think Mike said, in the next month or two.
They're saying a month now.
A month now? Okay. And then I'll be setting up a reserve fund again for next year where we can start transferring money in for the next vehicle purchase in the future. Road and Bridge, again, another 3% increase in wages for 27 potentially. We're going to have a 6.5% increase in our medical mutual premiums, and I have a $52,000 line item for contingencies in 2027. Fire includes a 3% increase in the fire chief's salary. The fire contract that we received from the fire department increased 5% from last year, plus they have a $60,000 potential wage for a part-time chief. And they have $46,000 in contingencies. Capital project expenses, we have the restroom for the park, Auburn Community Park, and I think I mentioned at the last meeting, we had received the $50,000 grant from the state capital budget. And I talked to State Senator Rogner's office today, and someone will be getting with us in the near future to discuss the process involved with receiving the funds and when we can get started on that project. The other projects down the road, we have the Adam Hall roof to repair. There may be some expenses down the road to repair the salt dome, but talking with Mike, he seems to, if he keeps the salt away from that one corner foundation, we might be all right. And he indicated the canopy might need to be replaced, but that could be for another couple of years. You agree with that, PJ?
Yeah, we're getting some good life out of that canopy. So.
Yeah, what was the expected life, like 25 years, and I think we're past that now, aren't we?
We're right at it, I think.
Right at it.
Usually you see some breakdown. It's hanging in there. We've done a lot better than some of those buildings. Probably because it gets shaded a little bit there. I don't think it gets full sun. I think that helps.
Yeah, the only major project at this point I know about is replacement of the bay doors at the fire department.
And that drain up front.
Oh, okay. Variables affecting the budget are obviously every year dependent on the weather. We have how much road salt we're gonna use. That then ends up, the more salt we put down on the roads, the higher our fuel bill is. So again, cost of fuel is a huge variable. And then the other variable is repairs and maintenance, and that's any unexpected repairs on buildings and any vehicles, specifically the road department. So that's really the summary of the budget in a nutshell. I have to get this to the county before July 15th, and then I think we'll be meeting sometime in August with the Budget Commission. I don't think they've set a date yet. And there is a resolution, if you want to consider it now.
Might as well. I'll tell you what, why don't we hold the resolution for the regular meeting?
Okay.
That way we can just close the hearing.
We'll open it up to a comment or two if people are
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So,
Jim?
So why do we have a 3% for a fire chief that we don't have? Increase in the pay? Is this classification not fire prevention?
Well, maybe I missed one. Fire prevention, fire, whatever you want to call them. I don't know.
semantics.
It's,
Yes, that 3% would be for the fire prevention officer, not the fire chief.
And then we're talking about bringing in an assistant fire chief?
you'd have to ask Keith.
You're talking, I'm sorry, excuse me?
Are we bringing in an assistant fire chief or a fire chief to replace the fire chief?
Not to replace the fire chief. There's been some committee discussions as far as attempting, having some negotiations with the township and having the fire company fire chief employed by the fire company. Appointed by, hired by, paid by the fire company. That's a path we would like to investigate. As we were looking at that option, we felt it prudent to include some funding for that option.
So you're bringing a fire chief that's making less than a fire prevention officer? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm saying we're possibly presenting this part-time position for this much money.
It's the budget that they put together for us, for our contract for next year.
I'm just not understanding at all. Sounds like a lot of money going out for nothing.
The problem was, for many years, the classification was wrong because the state, the ORC, doesn't allow for a real fire chief. And we've corrected that. I brought this up in January. The voting was incorrect. We voted to fix the terminology because year after year it was rolled forward as an administrator, as a fire chief, as all these things that were incorrect per the ORC. So technically, and the way it reads, we were operating without it, we still are operating without a fire chief, because we're not allowed to have one, because we don't have a fire station. So slowly that's getting fixed. It's been wrong for, how,
2018,
19?
18.
18? Okay, so it's been wrong for 8-ish years, and slowly it's being updated and corrected. What that looks like, I guess, is to have a part-time fire chief for the company, and then we still will have a fire prevention officer. And then we have 2 people that do the fire prevention work.
Currently, yes, 2 inspectors that are doing the actual inspections of the township.
I'd venture to say between those 4 positions, probably pushes close to 200,000. But I feel it's a good direction that we're going in, because it's been a long time that we technically did not have a fire chief, or do not. We still do not today. Is that correct? You're the liaison. I don't want to step on your toes about all this.
Yes, technically, Chief Phillips is the fire prevention officer. So, actual title-wise, no, it's not fire chief. According to their definition, or the ORC definition, he has all of the powers of a fire chief except for equipment. Now, why they define it that way, I don't know. The ORC says that the township must, and this isn't negotiable, we have to have a fire prevention officer.
Right.
It doesn't say you can do it if you want to, hey, if you're, no, you must appoint a fire prevention officer, which we do. And that's that guy right there. So, again, they're a separate fire company. If they want to have their own fire chief, they can. They have all the fire, they set up what they want to do on their end. They're a separate organization. We don't have any control of that. So if they decide they want to have a separate fire chief, that's fine. They can do that. That doesn't affect the fact that we have to appoint a fire prevention officer.
The correction was we just never had it right. And now we voted in February to correct the terminology, which is very important. In the state of Ohio, to have a fire chief, you must have a physical on file. Okay, they're very serious. And the training has to match. That's subsection A of the ORC. But we're operating under section B because we're claiming to not have a fire department. The technicality is that it's contracted. Well, there's a lot of other questions I have about that. Do we put it out to bid? I mean, it's definitely over $79,000 a year. And now there's all these places that want to do EMS and come in and operate your town because they are more efficient. They don't have $200,000 in fire prevention. That's about 20% of the salary cost. I was actually thinking about it today. Is just wrapped up possibly into fire prevention and this new chief position. So I'll just be honest, in my opinion, something's off. I mean, that's not my position to be the liaison, but the way the money is flying in a direction that we don't really understand, hopefully it does get rectified and fixed with this new chief position coming in. That's my hope.
Okay, I think everybody understands, where you're at on this. You've made it pretty clear here. Anyone else have any comments on this? We kind of want to close out the hearing so we can go into the regular meeting and actually take care of business. Okay, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close, yeah.
PJ motioned, yes.
Yes,
Who seconded?
PJ motioned.
I
I
said
made the motion.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Mike.
yes. Okay, now that that's over with, we can go back to the meeting at hand. All right. All right, I'm going to call the regular meeting to order, starting at 7:05, and we're catching up a little bit. John Nessie, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Your name just jumped out at me, so it's on the test here since you're our guest speaker.
Thank you. My name is John Nacy, Auburn resident, alternate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I'm familiar with the zoning resolution and would like to confirm a couple of points with zoning inspector Frank Kidko regarding Mr. Eprick and his dirt bike club proposed motocross track at 19122 Munn Road as described at last month's trustee meeting. Frank, Auburn's R1 and R2 districts are intended to preserve low-density, single-family, residential character and compatible uses. More intensive recreational uses such as golf courses are treated as conditional uses subject to strict standards, which shows that active recreational facilities are not automatically permitted in residential zones and must be evaluated for compatibility. According to section 4.03, a motocross track or dirt bike track is not listed as a permitted or conditional use in R1. In addition, section 3.02 states that no land or structure may be used in a way that is unhealthy, hazardous, noxious, or otherwise injurious to public health, safety, comfort, or general welfare, and specifically prohibits air pollutants such as dust and exhaust, as well as objectionable noise and vibration. Is that consistent with your interpretation?
Yes, it is.
Good. All right, to carry on. Operating multiple motocross cycles, especially as a club activity, on a frequent basis in an R1 zone district is a high-intensity, high-noise recreational use involving operation of off-road motorcycles close to adjacent properties and homes. It is fundamentally different in character, noise, traffic, and safety impacts from the low-density residential uses intended for an R1 district, is not identified as a conditional use in any zoning district in the resolution. Allowing such a use in R1 would contradict the township's land use plan and undermine homeowners who purchased in reliance on the R1 designation and an expectation of quiet enjoyment of their property. As the governing body established under Ohio Revised Code 505.01, the Board of Township Trustees is responsible for managing township affairs and exercising zoning authority to protect the health, safety, and welfare of residents. That includes preventing incompatible land uses in established residential districts and protecting residents from nuisances such as excessive noise. Auburn Township fulfills its duty to protecting existing residents by enforcing the zoning resolution as written by recognizing Mr. Eprick's proposed use of multiple motocross bikes on his property, regardless of whether a track or trail is built, is not a permitted or conditional use in R1. As a follow-up to previous noise level discussions by this board, under Ohio nuisance law, a private nuisance is an unreasonable interference with another's use and enjoyment of property, and excessive noise is a well-recognized example. The Ohio Supreme Court in State v. Carrick upheld regulation of excessive noise, including noise so loud that it prevents neighbors from sleeping, as clearly excessive. That principle applies here. Intense, recurring motocross noise that significantly disrupts neighboring residents' quiet enjoyment is exactly the kind of conduct Ohio law treats as objectionable and subject to regulation. Geauga Public Health has a process to investigate nuisance complaints, seek voluntary abatement, hold hearings, and if needed, refer matters to the prosecutor. Allowing a dirt bike club and course in R1 will generate ongoing complaints, enforcement demands, and neighbor conflict that could be avoided by not permitting this fundamentally incompatible use in the first place. The board should consider that likely administrative and enforcement burden on township and county entities. This is not a minor variance or low-impact accessory use. It is a fundamentally different land use category that belongs, if at all, in non-residential or specifically designated zoning districts. Over 350 residents have signed a petition opposing this proposed use and request that you enforce our zoning resolution, which does not list such a use as either a permitted or conditional use in R1. For the reasons stated above, I respectfully request the Auburn Township Board of Trustees, 1, confirm that a motocross dirt bike course or racetrack is not a permitted or compatible use in the R1 district. Number 2, recognize that proposed course or racetrack will create an ongoing nuisance through excessive and objectionable noise, inconsistent with Ohio nuisance principles and case law, and with the quiet enjoyment expectations of residents in an R1 neighborhood as reflected by the 350 signatures opposing it. Number 3, affirm the township's commitment to protecting the health, safety, and welfare of residents by preserving the low-density residential character of existing R1 districts and declining to introduce high-intensity recreational motor vehicle uses into these areas. Lastly, I do not believe it is coincident that Trustee Davis is regularly consulted by Mr. Eprick. His presence at test rides, publicly suggesting noise abatement mounds of dirt on the same day Mr. Eprick solicits over 200 loads of filled dirt for privacy mounds, appears as collusion. In his short tenure, Trustee Davis has supported some worthwhile township improvements. However, his continued debate and public support of motocross noise level acceptability conflicts with his responsibility to support and defend our zoning resolution. Mr. Davis has shown personal bias in favor of Mr. Eprick's track endeavors, counter to the overwhelming number of constituents opposed to it. I believe a trustee who knowingly assists an applicant in circumventing or violating zoning resolution would be engaging in misconduct in office and an abuse of their authority. Coaching an applicant on ways to evade the zoning resolution while holding a public office would raise serious concerns about malfeasance in office and breach of public trust. In light of overwhelming community opposition to Mr. Eprick's intended barn dominium clubhouse and motocross course, I believe Mr. Davis should either abstain from any and all activities regarding this matter, including consulting with Mr. Eprick on ways to circumvent or violate the township zoning resolution, or voluntarily resign as trustee. I appreciate your attention to this matter and your continued service to the residents of Auburn Township. Thank you.
Oh, hold on. We need it. You asked us a bunch of questions on there that nobody wrote down. We could go through them.
If you want.
Well, what's the point of asking us to do these things and then not?
It's not the first time, okay?
You want me to abstain because I've been getting stuff done. And
I
now, again,
want you to abstain because of an obvious bias you have.
Well, wait a
towards this
second.
track.
I found the recreational use stuff that you guys didn't like. That's just the truth. We can't just lie to residents or people.
Where did you find a recreational use?
It's on Google.
Frank just told us it doesn't fit the zoning resolution.
I took more value to the fact that the same prosecutor already looked into tracks in Clarendon.
No, they looked into one individual case,
Track.
and it was quoted third hand by a reporter in a paper.
Okay.
It was not confirmed directly with the prosecutor.
Well, we've said the word recreational in here. Is that correct? I believe at the last meeting, it's a recreational use?
What?
If he rode a dirt bike on his property.
If he himself rides, he has the right, but by himself, yes.
I'm just taking
Anybody.
myself out of this. I'm not the,
Well, that's what I'm asking you to
Yeah.
do. Take
No,
yourself out of it.
right, this is zoning related, so I'm asking good questions here.
All right.
So
Well, I asked you 3 questions, or 3 requests.
Can I finish this one, Mr. Kicko, though?
Go ahead.
If he has several other people over, or if I rode a dirt bike and had my neighbor over, is that recreational use?
No.
It's not.
Personal use for you, recreationally for you, on your property, yes. Right. Would
But
be recreational use, which you were allowed individually. But, like I stated to him in my written letter to him at the very beginning, I may not be able to stop you individually, but if you have 10, 12, 14 people riding and it becomes a nuisance, we will shut you down. And like I stated at the last meeting a month ago, and you brought it up, I said, if it becomes a nuisance, and I feel it's a nuisance, and the residents feel it's a nuisance, the judge is gonna make the decision. Because it'll go to court, and I'll take it, we'll go to court, and the judge will make the decision. Or a judge and jury, but
You cannot stop him individually, or him and a couple people. But if it becomes a nuisance, and enough people consider it a nuisance, and I consider it a nuisance, and here's the catch that everybody's forgetting here. By Ohio Revised Code, is my interpretation and mine alone. Not yours, not theirs, it's mine. That's what the Ohio Revised Code says. Now, you can agree with me or you can disagree with me. If you want to disagree with me and want me to resign, that's one thing. But I'm just telling you, the ultimate decision is going to be mine. And then what happens if certain things happen, we'll go the route. If he has to go to court, we have to go to court. If it becomes a nuisance. You know, and until he puts something on the table, all this discussion is ridiculous. Until something gets put up. You know, he puts a drawing, and to this point, I have drawings for a fence, I have drawings for a barn for cattle and horses. I have nothing for a motocross track at all. No layout, nothing. So, and he's publicly stated at this time he has no intention of doing it. So, you know, he stated that in the paper. You know, so you know, like I say,
The zoning is what we have to enforce, and at this point in time, there's nothing from zoning to enforce, so.
Until it becomes, you know.
And again, going back to the just in general, a noise complaint, any type of noise issue. Anybody's got a problem with that, they're gonna have a lot better off doing it as a civil suit on their own versus the township doing it. Because it's gonna go a lot farther and a lot faster than if we do anything. So just wanna keep that in mind. I think the prosecutor pretty much can.
A couple of meetings ago, that was a big thing. I said, well, what's the main thing we've been arguing about for 6-7 months here is mostly noise. That's a big part of this.
Yeah.
So if you remember, we discussed it, and I'll play bad guy, but I was the one that said, hey, we really ought to ask the prosecutor, you know, their opinion, right? Well, we just heard back. That's the context of what he's saying. Then there's a lot more to it. But to summarize, I agree completely with you. Well, heck, you motioned the one time just to tell him what the response was. I think it's so big here.
If you want to make a motion to read the response on that thing, feel free, I'll second it.
Yeah, are you interested in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, read it.
Second?
Second, oh, we're going for second, yes, I'll second that.
I'll get it.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael?
Yes. Okay, one moment, please.
Who made the motion? Riley? Mike?
Mike.
And I
PJ
second it.
Let's see. Okay, so, and again, this is on the issue of zoning, or on noise. This is from the prosecutor. I've been unable to find any case law to help provide guidance on this provision of the township zoning resolution. If enforced, it should be done so uniformly and should not single out a certain type of noise over others, i.e. enforcing against a dirt bike but not a leaf blower. As a general rule, noise regulations are difficult to enforce, especially if there is no measurable standard. It would be difficult road for the enforcement subject to the court's interpretation of the application of the township's resolution to the situation, and would certainly be subject to challenge by individuals it is enforced against. Oftentimes, situations like this are best addressed via private nuisance actions by the individual property owners who find the situation, whether noise or otherwise, to be a nuisance under the law. They should seek private counsel for advice on how to pursue any claims. That was from Kristen Ryan, so, we brought up the question,
All right.
she directly answered it,
I
and
appreciate that.
as far as we get it, when we get that information, that's why,
Right.
it comes, it's a confidential thing to the trustees. For us to convey it, we have to have we have to agree to
Okay.
waive our,
I gotta say,
Brian.
on issues like this, or even issues unlike this, we're generally pretty open about sharing those opinions, but the only exception, and that's pretty hard and fast, is on personnel, things that come up, so.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us.
That's
You know,
big.
What I,
That's a big accomplishment over all those months.
well, look, I understand what she said, and I can pull up a lot of case law that indicates where civil damages were awarded, yada, yada, and these things do wind up in court, civil court, quite a bit. Understand all that. My point is, Mr. Eprick has stated he wants to build a track. He sent a letter to all the nearby residents that he's going to do that, okay? And that's what started this ball rolling, all right? If he's changed his mind, great, all right? We don't have to keep discussing it. But if he asks for a permit from Frank to build a track, we've got another story, all right? Which is why we want you guys to affirm that A, it's not in the zoning resolution as a permitted or conditional use, which it is not. And two, that noise is a violation, as well as dust and vibration and things like that. Environmental concerns are also part of that. So we want you guys to affirm that, yeah, you understand that. Because you need to be in our corner, all 350 petition signers, that says, yeah, we understand your anxiety over this track being built, so we're not gonna allow the track to be built. If he decides to still drive around his property and create a lot of noise, we know we've got another issue on our hands. We'll still call Frank, we'll still try to get some enforcement on nuisance, but if we have to go to civil court, we understand that's where we're gonna wind up. And we're taking legal counsel actions
Then
to
you,
do that.
you certainly understand where we're from, and we say, I'm not doing anything with those things, so I run that up to the prosecutor's office, because we don't do anything without their advice, so.
Okay, all
So,
right.
That's good. Like a second ago, you said it all stops with you, all that, okay.
Until it gets escalated.
There's 3 questions you had in there.
Yeah, I said one.
And I think you deserve answers,
Yeah,
because
all
it's
right.
been a lot of months here.
All right,
And we
so
keep
here.
spinning our wheels.
I'll repeat them for
That's a
you.
bad pun.
I'll repeat it for you. Confirm that a motocross dirt bike course or racetrack is not a permitted or compatible use in the R1 district. That's number one.
For,
I've already
Good
asked
track,
Frank.
no.
we
I've
gotta
already
get
asked
some.
Frank, he's already confirmed it, all right? Recognize that it will create an ongoing nuisance through excessive and objectionable noise. You guys have already kind of recognized that. We're looking at a potential issue here of a noise nuisance to all the residents nearby. You don't recognize that?
From what we just read from our prosecutor?
No, from what I just, you just said you wanted me to repeat the 3 questions or the 3 affirmations I'm looking for from you.
I simplified it to the whole objectionable section 3 thing, that's what we sent to get
All
clarification
right, so
on,
we've got the clarification
noise.
on noise, all right? And affirm that your commitment to protecting the health, safety, and welfare of residents by preserving the low-density residential character of R1 districts, declining to introduce high-intensity recreational motor vehicle uses into these areas, which is a zoning issue.
So, there's 2 questions that need answered, and they're both for zoning.
Yes.
Okay?
well, the questions are to us and whether we are going to confirm all.
Right.
He's addressing those questions to the trustees.
You have the ultimate responsibility for the health and welfare of the community. And you have to make sure that Frank is enforcing the zoning resolution.
I can't play it back right now, but I swear you said that it stops with you and it's not us with the zoning stuff. It's all recorded.
With the noise, it stops with me.
Being the one
Ultimately,
who-
it's gonna be my decision. In other words, here's what.
From an interpretation standpoint, it will be his decision.
Right, here, yeah.
So since we can't interpret what the sound is, we can't agree with what you're saying, because Frank is the one that actually
And the reason I
has the
pose
fun.
it, the reason I pose it this way is because according to Ohio Revised Code, The Board of Township Trustees is responsible for managing township affairs and exercising zoning authority to protect the health, safety, and welfare of residents.
True. Absolutely, I agree to that statement right there.
Perfect.
I mean,
That's all I
of
wanna
course we
know.
do, we're township trustees, we.
That's fair.
That's all I'm asking.
Look, let me put it this way. You're asking the question of the Board of Trustees now. Yeah. We are a tribunal, so it's not like one person's, so I will answer that question that you just answered, the third. Yes, I will personally can go with that, and that's what we have done, and it's caused us a lot of grief and people complaining about spending money on attorneys and all the other good stuff that we do to irritate the residents, but that's what we do, and if we have to defend zoning, yep, that's what.
Yeah, how that works is the commission writes the regulations.
Right.
He interprets the zoning, the zoning inspector, the appointed zoning inspector does the interprets. So when he says it stops with him, at that point, yes, it does. Now, if the Board of Trustees does not agree with that inspector's interpretation, that's subject to change. And the Zoning Board of Appeals, which I can't see how it'll ever be involved in this issue.
Unless he asks for a variance.
Unless he asks for a variance, yeah.
And a variance wouldn't be granted unless there's a hardship for him.
That would be because the applicant disagrees with for whatever reason,
Right.
with the inspector.
That's right.
Or it can't, or what he's proposing can't possibly fit zoning. That's where ZBA comes in. So, yeah, when he says kind of, put words in your mouth, but the buck stops with him as appointed zoning inspector, that's true. Yeah.
So just so I understand though, look, I mean, we're gonna keep talking about this forever. If he wants to ride his dirt bike, he can ride his dirt bike.
He can ride his dirt bike,
Okay.
yes.
And if he has,
I've answered that. I answered it in writing. I've answered it 3 meetings in a row now. He individually can ride his dirt bike, just like you can ride yours, and he can ride his. He's got 20-some acres, he can ride it. If it becomes a nuisance by noise, by volume, for periods of time, and people complain, then I will have to make a decision, and they may not be happy. I don't know what's gonna happen until I inspect it. But what I would do, if enough people came to me and proved that he was making noise, and I went there and felt he was making noise, then I would say it's a zoning violation. And then he has the right to appeal it to the court. And yes, the prosecutor has the right, but like I've stated this for 2 years or 3 years, all this time about noise. Leaf blowers, chainsaws, all those things. You can't, and like the prosecutor said, you can't single them out by that alone. So in this situation, he would have to be riding every day for an hour or two every day, 3 or 4 people riding, making enough noise that this group of people came to me, and I would go there and I would determine, yes, it is a nuisance, or no, it's not. If I say it's a nuisance, I will cite him, and it will go to the prosecutor, and it will end up in a court of law. Just like, so that's the way it's gonna go. And I stated that over a year ago in a written letter to him. So, and until he does it, I can't make any determination. I've been there twice when he's ridden. One time I didn't hear anything. One time I might have heard something like a lawnmower running. Now, one time I was on Crackle Road, and I found out that he was riding on the northeastern part of his property. So the noise at Crackle Road, there was a guy running a weed eater down the road, was making more noise than he was.
Look, I just want to clarify one thing. The intent, the letter that Mr. Efrick sent a year ago, or 6 months ago, to the neighborhood, indicated he wanted his club to ride up to 10 bikes at a time on this property. That's what started.
It is.
all of this.
And I think he was probably,
That's what he was saying.
pretty
If
clear
it's one
about.
guy on a bike, I understand he's got a privilege to do that. I'm not arguing.
Well, you know, again, we keep coming back to his original letter, and I'm sure that was his original intent and what he wanted. Now, there's been a lot of grief and arguments and complaints and everything that's going on. So that may have swayed
Well,
what he's
let's
thinking.
hope
But again, until he does it,
I understand.
again, I mean, I'd like to get in my car right now and say, no riding motorcycles on your yard, young man. But that's not gonna happen, okay? We can't do that.
I understand.
I mean, it'd be a lot easier, we all go on with our
Yeah,
lives.
my
but-
overarching question to all that is, why did he write that letter? I don't know.
Well, that,
You
yeah,
know.
right.
Look, I don't want to keep beating it to death. I appreciate your guys.
Excellent idea.
Appreciate
Let's go on with the rest of the meeting, because like I said, we all like to go to bed semi-early anymore. See, I
talk
watched
about
Deb's
the patio.
face, and coming
Let's
up
talk about
around
the patio.
8:30, she's starting to give me this look, and I don't wanna make her mad.
You
All
want to
right.
keep me up in the letter, though, and then you don't want to just, are you going to give those questions to him? You could put it on record, and you could say all that on paper. He can hide a couple things for a couple hours, a couple friends. Are you going to, like, is that all true? Like, that's the big premise of this, though. Like, I thought you were saying a few bikes can ride for a couple hours, but then you'll use your judgment
That's right.
and cite him.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe not, who
Maybe
knows?
not. Maybe
So,
it,
a
maybe
lot
it
of-
won't make, maybe the noise won't be, I won't feel the noise.
He won't know
that way.
until he's riding one bike or two bikes or 47 bikes and Frank's out there listening to it. At that point, he'll make his assessment whether it's, again, in his, from a zoning standpoint, whether he feels it's objectable or not,
Right.
and
That's-
we'll work from there. But
That's the tough
But
part.
again, even if he's running one bike, even if it's objectionable, I think there's nothing you can do about it, because, I mean, especially if, you know, I mean,
Now, if he's riding for 10 hours or something like that.
sure, if he's riding 24/7 and they got kids, okay, but,
Yeah.
but again, until we get an issue here, I mean, we could sit here and beat this to death for the next
Right.
14 hours,
We are.
and,
As a general rule, noise regulations are difficult to enforce, especially when there are no measurable standards. So I just want to be really clear, because you're saying you might put it in front of the judge and all this.
long
Like,
night, Deb. I'm
Well,
sorry.
You're getting mad. I'm being attacked for asking very specific, correct questions. And I'm getting, I'd like to think, really good information for you after 7 months of back and forth. We have all these disagreements. You can just cite him for noise at your discretion. But then we literally can read it right here. There's no measurable standard.
I know that.
I feel like I'm being like a simple voice of reason,
I'm
but
reading the zoning resolution, objectionable noise.
That's
to
the
a
question
volume,
we sent.
frequency, or beat.
that's exactly the question we agreed to send to our prosecutor. And we got a response directly to that.
Difficult. It's difficult. It's not
very
impossible, and
difficult.
yeah, it might have wind up in a civil court, but it's up to Frank to make a call.
It's very difficult.
Particularly if you've got 350 people calling him to complain.
Once you make that call, where's it go? Just a stupid question. The citing.
If I cite him,
Hmm.
he either ceases and desists, or
You
he
send it,
doesn't, and it goes to the prosecutor's office.
with this
Then if it goes to
opinion?
the prosecutor's office and she doesn't agree with us,
Then we're.
then we'll have to get our own attorney, and then we need money.
But, yeah,
And then he's gonna yell at us for days on end about spending $5,000 for an attorney, and it's gonna, you know how it goes, so we can't win, you know? All right,
I don't
so,
want your job.
Yeah, I was just trying to get ahead of this with facts. You know, that's all.
I appreciate that.
So you've got some more facts.
I appreciate that.
Bad guy or not, facts are good.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
I have a question for this gentleman right here. You said he did a noise test. How many vehicles were there at the time? On his property?
I don't know. I wasn't on his property.
But you were right next to his property. You said he was riding around one bike. Now, he's claiming he's gonna have at least 10. And these are all our neighbors. They're not gonna be going over there and be buddying up with him. So these are gonna be people from all over coming here, riding all day long. You ever been to a motorcycle race?
No.
There's one after another. You fall down, you want to catch up to this guy here because you want to beat him. So they're going to be very aggressive with their noise. And now these two-strokes or four-stroke motors. Two-stroke makes a lot more noise than a four-stroke. Correct?
I have, here again, until he does something, there's nothing I can do. You people can,
I was mainly concerned about the test.
all
He set the test up, correct? He told you to come by someday or just
He's-
any day.
yeah, he told me that he was gonna be riding, if I wanted to stop by. I said, oh.
I think he called all of us. I know he called me.
Yeah.
I stopped
He's made
by.
the offer to,
Me?
Yeah, not a lot of
You know, I wasn't
collusion.
listening,
We
you
all
know.
got invited,
If
and
this
I
is my
just,
neighbors here,
I
we
said,
can
well, I
all
might as
stand out
well.
there and listen.
Yeah,
We
he
have a
called
neighbor
all
here
of
that
us.
measured 79 decibels, which is higher than any of the business district allowed noise ratings. It was the day you were there, and you went to his house to hear it.
I can't tell you're looking at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he invited everybody, and I said, well, that's good due diligence if I go by and see for myself.
Right.
I thought I just got more involved, I'm a bad guy, but I tried to get more information for you, and really boots on the ground, see what's going on. Along with the noise, along with the recreational use, along with all those ideas I had to get us somewhere over this hump of 7 months of arguing. So, might not be what you want to hear, but that's the truth as I see it so far.
I appreciate you looking into it.
Yes, sir, you're welcome.
anybody else feel like beating a dead horse? Okay, minute approval. Regular meeting, 06/15/26.
Well, they're a different format. That's what they're gonna look like now.
Yeah, if you notice,
Yeah, if you let AI do it, it looks like the way we used to do it. It's a Cliff Notes version of what's really there. So based
I
on
mean, they
that,
were accurate. I mean, if that's what the, do we have to put those on legal paper by any state ORC thing?
legal paper, you mean minute paper?
Yes.
well, they have to go in the minute book, right? So,
We don't, but he did.
That's just the way it's been
Oh,
done.
you did?
Yeah, you got the
Okay, all
wrong
right.
copy.
I got a copy.
Yeah.
He's got the complete one,
Okay, all right. Well, good, okay.
Yeah.
but we don't.
Yeah, because the only thing I'm getting at is you can go back to, I don't know, probably 1800 and something and find minutes up there that are in that same,
Oh, yeah, these are all,
Yeah.
will go in those
Okay.
record books. And
well,
But just to let you know, in addition to live streaming, I'm recording with that AI. It's called a plod device. And then it takes the recording, converts it into a transcript, and then I used a AI program called Claude, which took the minutes, took the agenda and the transcript, and condensed it within 5 minutes into a 6-page meeting summary. It even took, when Fire Prevention Officer Phillips gave us the rundown last meeting of his report of calls, last year, this year, he put it in a table format.
so that.
It was like-
I didn't know how that happened, but.
Yeah, I was like, so it took a 16,000 word transcript and condensed it to a 3,000 word accurate minute summary.
yeah.
And,
And like I said, meeting minutes, back when they first came up with meeting minutes were
Handwritten.
probably handwritten and probably a little more important than they are when you've actually got the entire meeting recorded and on YouTube. Okay, so, I mean, the whole meeting is available for anyone to see now. And again, this is just a Cliff Notes version for anyone who doesn't have an hour and a half, or depending on the topic, 3 hours to.
pardon me?
Is that, you review them for accuracy?
Yes.
Yes, and then we get copies prior as well. And, yeah, I'm just gonna say for the initial voyage, it looks fine to me, and I'm glad we're in the same size, paper.
Right?
Yeah.
What does Patrick
Yeah,
say?
sure, anybody wants to see it. The point is too, even if there were something that is questionable, the way it transcribes, I guess the backup plan, so to speak, is you have a complete audio recording, and then you have a secondary audio recording with visual. So at any point, as public record, you can literally just watch exactly what happened.
So people are pretty much taken care of if they want to know what happened in this meeting.
Overly taken care of, yep.
So motion to approve.
I'll second.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Okay, and the special meeting of 6/24, I'll make a motion to approve on that because that's very short. That's
Second.
where we had an executive session, so the meeting minutes are going in, when it came out.
Riley, second. PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes. Okay. Schedule reports, Frank Kitco, zoning inspector.
Okay, gentlemen, you should all have a copy of activity for June. We processed 14 applications. Actually have 3 new, I think, 3 new homes this month, which is the most in 1 month and several, probably a year and a half, 2 years. Had also had 3 denials. They involve height. 2 of them are height restrictions, or height exceeding height, and one's a structure in the road right away. I believe they will be coming to the Board of Appeals. That's it. And then we have spent some time preparing information for Assistant Prosecutor at her request on the patio situation. That's all I have.
Okay. Trustee reports, PJ.
A couple things, I didn't sign it yet. You got a copy, I believe everybody got that today. There was, and Dan, I got some things to discuss with you. The additional work at Auburndale that was brought up mid-project. Are we still good there with what we encumbered?
Yes.
Okay. What we found, and for any old timers here in the township, we did a major resurface all over town actually, but we started in White Oak. And White Oak was the original road in this subdivision. I think it predated the other roads by a few years. I'm looking at Chief and Frank because this goes back a ways. Wasn't it there several years prior?
Right.
And then the spur roads all came off of it, which is why the whole entire subdivision is still called White Oak, even though it's the outlier portion of the subdivision now. What we found at the intersection of Auburndale and White Oak was some pretty soft, inadequate base. And the conclusion we came to was that was a ditch, probably for 5-10 years, or 5 years anyway, prior to Auburndale being added to the White Oak road and starting that subdivision. And Mike, this goes back to our, and I'm certainly not gonna criticize anyone because our road program is still pretty much state-of-the-art. It's pretty much top shelf, I think, in the county for a township road program. But the initiation date for all those roads in the White Oak subdivision was 1994, which is not true.
No, you're right.
So, you know, John Everly did this, the late John Everly, and he put a ton of work into this, and he had to have a starting date. I can't, you know, I'm not gonna bash him for having a starting date, because that's when he started it. But that's what left us scratching our heads as to why in this one place, we had a really bad base. Well, that's why, because that was a ditch that they filled in to add a road. So I don't know how the county didn't have record of that. I know why our records didn't reflect that. But there was an additional repair done by that contractor, Phillips Paving. They incorporated it into the job because it needed to be. 180 square yards. The intersection of Auburndale and White Oak that was very soft. County engineer recommended excavating 24 inches subgrade compaction and geogrid adding 12 inches of number 1, number 2 limestone, followed by 6 inches of 304, and finally 301 base asphalt. The estimated cost of that was $34,000. That was in addition to what the bid price was. And that's been completed, and they came in, I think the final's gonna be under that. I don't know that it's broken out in this okay to pay that came from the county today. But that is how I can explain what happened there.
Hey, PJ,
Yeah.
when they set up the original development area,
Mhm.
were the roads possibly platted, but they put in the main road first and then?
I'm gonna defer to Frank on
I
that one.
believe you're, yes.
That was before my time here.
I'm pretty sure they're
So that's why, if you look at when it was originally platted versus when it was actually put in, the records could be a little sketchy there.
But White Oak was first.
Yes.
It was first. That I kind of
Was the main
remember.
drag, yes.
Anyway, so that's that.
Is there something there that needs signed and the board needs to approve that?
Well, we're gonna go over this. I just opened, this came in from.
Yeah, about 2:30 this
That's what I heard,
afternoon.
very late this afternoon, so. I'm
That's
kinda-
why I didn't cut a check.
I don't blame you, but they're gonna be leaning on us for a check, because the county says okay to pay already. I'll read that letter here. I'll get to it down further down the agenda, because I wanna skim it again first. But yeah, the county recommends we pay $730 something.
Yeah, well, I didn't think until the board had a chance to review that, because like you just said, is that 30-some thousand
I don't know.
in there?
I don't know, it
either.
just came in, I don't know.
You talking about the email that, to pay the 733?
Yeah, that one, yeah. There's a whole bunch of papers in there.
Yeah, 223.
The other thing, and Dan, you brought it up during the budget hearing, this much delayed truck, and it's very delayed. We're looking at about another month on this. We were hoping to get it in service by end of winter previous. Now we got our fingers crossed we get it here and broken in and get the bugs worked out before this year. We got a call from Valley Truck, where we bought this truck, and they're asking us, customer follow-up, how's it working for you? Well, we don't have it yet, and they were a little flummoxed with that too, and we're gonna look at a new outfitter, when we do get around to the next purchase, so. This has gone on too long. That's pretty much all I have.
Okay. Riley, what do you got?
Well, you see our new TV here. It's not quite set up all the way, but initially I had asked for $500 to upgrade. We pushed it up to 1,000, and I believe we are in the 490s or 480s. So we still came in under 500. The mount was not replaced. That's the mount from the old TV, which is back there. Now at this point, a cell phone or a laptop, as we talk about resolutions or look at aerials of a property or whatever it may be, or a Boy Scout project, Eagle Scout, excuse me, we can put it up there. Everybody can see it a little better now. It's a lot brighter and a lot bigger. So that wasn't that bad. So I appreciate it. Keith here helped me hold it up and hang it. He happened to be here when I was doing it. So we didn't pay to have it installed. At the same time, there was broken water pipes from the wintertime in Town Hall. The contractor had asked, hey, we're getting close to finishing the project. We might need to use the bathrooms. It's hot out. So I went over there and cut the broken pipes out and sweat them back together myself. What did it save us? $200-300 maybe, but that job is done. We did not get any payment or cost to that. Further about Town Hall, it was opened up for the parade. There was a lot of great feedback. People used the bathrooms. They got to check it out, otherwise they hadn't probably seen it before. So that was a pretty big success, I would say, that it got to that point. It's not totally finished, obviously, but it was cleared by the county to be opened and used. So they did come by and check it out. To switch gears, does anybody have any questions about TV? Town hall.
What size is that?
65. We had a
65?
55 maybe? We probably could have went up.
I don't know, it just looked bigger than a 65.
The brightness was the big thing. The other one, it wouldn't connect to laptops. It's probably 10 years old or so.
Well, I'd say 65 inches is more than suitable for this room.
Yeah, and the brightness, it should be tilted more your way, not this way. I was playing with it earlier, I forgot. The brightness on the other TV it was done. I don't know if it got left on too long or what, but you could hardly see it. So I think it was a good upgrade for not that much money. But somewhat related, if you remember from a couple meetings ago, we are required in the next year and a half to get our website up to ADA compliance. The timing was good. We have a new administrative assistant that we didn't really want her to learn the system twice, changing the website and then getting another new website right on top. So we voted to start working on our new website to be ADA compliant. Mr. Matsko and myself and Christine, we all went to Chardon, and we had a meeting with Company 119, went over what we have, where we'd like to be. And we were waiting to talk about the cost of the pages. They charge $180 per page. What was presented was a whole lot of pages at a cost of
7,500 maybe?
$4,500.
4,500.
And so on purpose, I held that vote, so to speak, back, because I wanted to go to the meeting and I wanted to get a plan exactly what pages do we need and how we could be a little more efficient with the money.
Annual?
One time to set it up.
One-time setup charge?
Yeah, but I knew we had a lot of stuff on our website that's not being used, or it's a lot of extra pages we don't need. So we went there with the goal to try to consolidate it before we agreed on what money to give them for these pages. And it got reduced from $4,500 to $2,340, so almost in half.
Excuse me, Riley, could some of those pages be archived? I remember when we went to that conference, they talked about you don't have to have every single page on your website ADA compliant. You are allowed to have pages archived where you could just keep them how they are now and, make a note on there. These pages are archived so they don't have to be updated.
That's a good question. I don't have the specifics, but I could tell you how we got the page count reduced almost in half, and it kind of will answer it. So there's a really creative way. It's called anchoring. You might go on a website now, and it gives you some information. You click, and it'll fly you down the page somewhere else. So it's almost like combining multiple pages into one, so there's not a million tabs anymore. It's I'd like to say it's a newer website design that's how they're going to implement into our website to get the cost down and to get it a little more simple for the users. So to that end, they said they believe they can do 13 pages. I wanted to give us because they kind of need the approval and the money side of it up front for this. I'd like to give them 2 additional pages. They did not have like a community page where we would have news and announcements, KCE, Geauga Department of Aging. So that's not showing here, so I think a 14th page can cover that. And then under government for elected officials, meeting minutes, township history, they didn't allocate a page for that. So to be safe, I'd like to add 2 more pages, or $180 times 2. I guess if we don't use them, I'm not sure if we get refunded or not, but I think they'll get used. So at this point, Company 119 is ready to proceed if we can approve their pre-plan for 15 pages is what I'd like to motion to approve at $2,700. And then the only last cost that will be associated will be in about a year and a half when we do have to implement the ADA regulations. That's a new set of costs and things that go into play when they turned on, so to speak. Because as we change things, there has to be a third party that is reviewing that we are in compliance. So that is a continued cost, unfortunately, but we don't have to face it yet. So we're just trying to get the website set up. So, are there any questions at all? I know it's like a lot to go over, it's complicated.
Yeah, I talked to Dan and Lorraine when you guys came back from Columbus, from the convention, and that's one of the first things you talked about. Now, that compliance date's been pushed back a year, is that correct?
Yes, I think, yeah.
April 27, and then a week after, I believe, when we were getting this rolling, they pushed it to April 28 for the ADA side of things.
So, these regulations are all written?
From the state?
Yeah. Is that, why did they push it back, I guess is what I'm getting at.
I don't think people were gonna, I'm guessing people weren't gonna make the cut on it, government entities.
They talked about that in Columbus. They said, you know, in January, the date was 2027, but they said it may get pushed back.
Just knowing how Columbus operates, sometimes they're still writing the regulations.
Well, like I said, we know we've got to do it anyway, so,
Right.
you know, nice to have things done for once, actually in advance of,
Right,
instead
before.
of 10 minutes before it's due.
But our new admin assistant, we really don't want to learn two sets of websites that are going to overlap at some point relatively soon. It was already a lot to take on to try to learn the system we have now and make all the updates, let alone she spends a bunch of time and effort and then has to learn a different way of systems. It's a good, and there's training involved, so the timing's pretty good.
Okay, so what's your motion for what dollar value
Uh,
for the 15 pages?
15 pages at $2,700. I'd like to motion for Company 119 to implement and proceed with their pre-plan, which we will all initial back to them.
Okay, I'll second.
PJ,
Yes.
Harley,
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Okay. We have our June cemetery report here. Should we, do these get posted into our minutes?
You can.
Yeah, yes.
They haven't, but
I think
we can just scan it and put it in.
Yeah, we can do that, or I think they were part of the minutes for, you know, the last one we had.
It's a good-looking report. It's short and it's probably accurate, because Mark
Yeah.
does a good job.
Yeah, this is big. We never had these before, so it is very helpful to see what's going on in the cemetery and what we could do to help or what they need. But Mark is doing a phenomenal job. He's very organized. And the new GPS system through the county, I think in the next month or so, we should have maybe a pilot or full access to it. I know it's coming soon, so that'll be an exciting cutover as well. So yeah, we don't need to vote on that. We're just in agreement, we'll just start adding this in as we get them.
Yes.
Okay.
Or if you just want to read the report, it's going to end up in the minutes.
That's just kind of dreary, you know, I figured if we,
Yeah, not like the other exciting
Yeah.
stuff we
Cemetery
do for
stuff
the...
is dreary.
yeah. So yeah, we'll just put it on, into the minutes. So it will be available for everybody.
Are there names on there?
No, it's just, well, I mean, I'll read it.
Not the names, if there's names. I mean, just the numbers.
Yeah, sold a grave,
Yeah,
couple
three
burials.
3 interments, 2 ashes, 1 full burial. 618, a double ash interment. 611, a single ash interment. 624, a full burial. There were no grave sites sold. There was a footer that was removed. Grave site settling is being addressed where needed, when we're up there and have time and material to do so. A couple more monuments have been set by memorial companies, and we still need to spray poison ivy in a few locations. So that's June. And,
Right.
yes, sir.
I'll add it.
Oh, I didn't know.
There you go.
Am I the only one that had that?
I think so.
Sorry, I didn't know how it got here. That's it for my report, thank you. Any questions, cemetery website, anything?
We've got a longtime Auburnite being buried tomorrow. Born and raised here.
Cheryl?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Longtime resident, businesswoman, business here in Auburn.
Some of you here too, I might as well bring this down. Well, the guy that donated this clock, from amongst other things, longtime member of our zoning board of appeals, Doug Hogan, recently moved from Auburn, did their downsize, built a new place up in Concord, and just as things will happen, he became sick with a very aggressive disease, and we lost him here over the weekend. He was a good friend of the township, and very
Good friend of the
effective.
township, I mean, just one of the nicest individuals you'd ever meet.
Yeah, a very effective member of our zoning board of appeals for decades. So, he'll be missed. Dan, I don't want to step on, maybe you should bring this up actually, but I want to make sure it gets mentioned that when we were checking on opening town hall for the 4th, our cleaning guy that cleans this building, Adam Hall reps up at Adam Hall, was involved in a serious accident. He's in the hospital right now.
Yeah, I don't know if those of you who know Matt Blowers, he came here, picked up supplies, took them over to the town hall because he was concerned. He wanted to make sure it had had toilet paper and it was clean, so for the parade, if people used it, it would look presentable. Then from there, he was headed to Adam Hall because he actually treats these buildings like they're his own. I mean, he really takes a lot of care into them. And as he was pulling out to make a left to head east on Washington, I think there were just some vehicles in his line of sight parked inside the parking area, and he pulled out and just got T-boned. And so unfortunately, he got transported to UH, and then they transferred him to UH downtown, and he's got a long recovery ahead of him. But I talked to his wife this afternoon, and she said that he's going to be moving into a rehab facility tomorrow. And it could be there a couple of weeks, he could be there a month. But he's alert, he's as ornery as ever, she said. But
That's a good thing.
yeah. In fact, he was planning on coming to tonight's meeting because he's concerned over the fact that many of and I was going to bring this up to the board, that we have a lot of organizations that, local, that we allow Adam Hall to be used for free. We don't charge them rent, and we expect it to be clean, but he's brought to our attention on numerous occasions, and recently, 3 or 4 of those organizations, he's gone and they've not been cleaned to his satisfaction. And his point being that if you're going to use the hall, if you can't clean it properly, we should probably charge at least a cleaning fee. Then we'll know it's done right, because if somebody goes in there for free and we don't charge them and they don't clean it properly, and then someone comes in a few days later and spend $1,000 or more to rent the facility to have a wedding or something like that, they don't want to come into a place that's not cleaned properly. So we probably should think about in the future when we allow these organizations to use it for free. He was going to bring pictures and everything, but obviously he's not here.
I trust him that the pictures aren't
Yeah.
really required.
So it's something the board may want to consider for future uses of, local organizations for a cleaning fee at least. So, yeah, that's the update on Matt.
We want to talk about that now and just get it done, like,
Well, yeah, what do you guys think about
someone can check,
Well,
someone else can check, we could do it 2-strike, 3-strike type something if he reports this group?
Well, we could ask for a deposit like we do anybody. And then if it's not cleaned properly, we keep the deposit and clean it, get it clean.
We don't have to get one every, it would just be one sitting on file. And if it's deemed that he had to clean it and the taxpayers paid for that cleaning, then we would remove that one, they'd have to refill the deposit amount.
Yeah, we'd refund the deposit if it's been cleaned properly. And
Yeah, I don't think we can
That all
hold it.
sounds
I don't
reasonable.
think we can't hold it like that.
Work out the logistics of
Is
it,
it
but
for regular groups though, that come through? Is this
I
for
don't know who it's for.
It's for anybody that we allow to use the facilities for free, like the Red Cross, the
Okay.
4-H club.
Some are seasonal, some are annual,
Right.
some are, I don't know what they are, but yeah.
yeah, like, the scouts use it, we let them use it, but they do an exemplary job of cleaning up, when they leave, but not all the organizations are
I
quite
mean,
like that.
it's not unusual. We ask for a security deposit now for anybody who rents Adam Hall and the Pavilion or Town Hall. And once the event's over, if nothing's broken and everything's fine, we give them back the security deposit. And that's usually 99.9% of the time.
Is there a definition of what clean is? Is there instructions or something that, at least?
We
Yeah.
have to learn that.
As you found it.
Yeah, we'd have to come up with
Really.
specific guidelines
Yeah,
for
as
them
you
on
found it.
what's expected from
Right.
if they want to get their deposit back.
Because
think-
their definition of clean might be different from what Matt's was.
Well, I guarantee anybody's definition of clean is going to be different than Matt's is. He's very meticulous.
Yeah, we'd have to come up with a, and I think Matt had something. We just need to incorporate it, get it in writing.
Yeah, well, wait till Matt gets out, and we can address it and have him
Okay.
come up with, what his guidelines are, so everybody's on the same page.
In the meantime, we say get well quick. Move on.
And all Dan, or
Oh,
we're going on to your,
oh, okay. Yeah, as far as my report, payments processed since our last meeting, June 15th. There's 22 electronic payments totaling $74,684.06, and 22 warrants totaling $40,277.05, for a total of $114,961.11. I was able to reconcile June, and in our primary checking account, we have $869,066.23, and in our Star Ohio investment account, $2,067,250.38, for a total of $2,936,316.61. Couple other things I was going to bring up. We received our Otarma renewal, our insurance company, and last week Mike Fenstermaker and he went through all the inventory, because we have to do a property valuation of all of our trucks and equipment. So he went through and reviewed everything, added some items, took some items off for us to submit to Otarma. And I also had to fill out a questionnaire where they want to know what are our expenditures and how many employees we have, and whether or not certain employees have been drug and alcohol tested, so this all keeps our liability costs down. And then the one thing they want is a appointment of a representative and alternate. Pursuant to Article 4 of the intergovernmental contract, each member of Otarma, which we are a member, is required to appoint a representative and an alternate representative to represent the member. The representative or alternate shall vote on behalf of the member on any matter that requires a vote by members. As a liaison, the representative or alternate shall be the contact person between the pool and the member on issues relating to risk reduction, loss control, pool rules and regulations, instructions directed to the member, obligations of the member imposed by the IGC or any other communication to a member. And last year, the Otarma member, the representative was myself, and the alternate was Mr. McEwen, who at the time was chairman.
That's kind of what I was thinking. That
Okay,
sounds like a
so-
chairman
Like
thing.
fiscal officer and chairman, same.
So I'll change that to you, Michael.
Yep.
Let's do a motion for that. Sounds like that's gonna be annual.
Yeah, I believe so.
Let's get it in the minutes. So there's a motion that our Tarma representatives will be fiscal
Fiscal officer
officer,
and
chairman of the
chairman.
board of trustees.
Okay, and there's a second?
I'll second.
Oh, Riley beat you.
I'll third it.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
And we were just talking about something, Christine and I were, about, was it, you know what, I know what it was. It was rental fees at the pavilion at the park, which we did that, we opened that in like in the spring or something. So when we set up the rental fees for renting a portion of that pavilion, it never made the organizational minutes. It probably should with everything else. And this probably should too.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we talked about it. the
Yeah,
last
so
meeting.
let's try to make a point of adding that to the first January meeting.
Okay. And I think I briefly mentioned, I gave all of you a copy of our, I just got that the other day, June 29th, actually, it came in. Medical Mutual, our renewal, our year starts September 1st. So I think you should have, everybody's got a copy.
Sure we do.
Anyways, take a look at it. I mean, I don't know,
The class size is what it is.
I put my human resources hat on. But our current deductible is $3,300, single, $6,600. Family, it's going up to $3,650, single, and $7,300 family. I think, as I mentioned, our premium, our monthly premiums are, what was interesting is the Medicare eligible, there are 2 people on the medical mutual plan. The rest of us are on a separate plan. It went from, it went up 191%, the premium, from $412 to like $1,200 a month. But overall, added in, our overall plan went up 6.5%. Our monthly premium went from $17,153 to $18,294 a month. So I don't know, review it. I don't know what the alternative is, but it is kind of what it is.
Yeah, unfortunately.
If somebody wants to review alternatives, I guess you can. So that's, they're gonna want to know if we're okay with it, and
Make a motion to continue with Medical Mutual for the, when does that term start?
September 1.
September 1st.
Second.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
And
So you've got your
that's it.
resolution for,
Yeah, that's under
Budget.
new business.
okay. All right. Okay, NOPEC energizing grant, under old business. That is just a reminder. Patio Bar and Grill agreed judgment entry update. The update is that we passed that over to the prosecutor's office, and it's out of our hands. Don't ask any questions, don't ask me what's going on with it, because I'm not gonna ask, I don't care, they're dealing with it now, that's why we have a prosecutor's office. And I already went through the website contract. Okay, new business, Red Cross Adam Hall schedule. This goes back to the cleaning issue. We've been letting them use it every 2 months. And they're requesting to have a blood drive monthly. I'm just gonna recommend to keep them on the 2-month schedule until we get this cleaning thing rectified.
Let me throw this out there too. I sent somebody an email, I don't remember who. This building,
Oh, yeah, that'd be perfect.
I think it would work for, I've been there when doing something in the back when the blood drive's going on. There's very few people there.
Yeah.
A couple of cots and necessary equipment. This
Which building?
Town hall.
Town hall.
Town hall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be probably a good idea.
I
mean,
think
they-
it would be.
For the,
They got room there.
well, you know, we'll check with them once, you know, everything is up and running 100% here.
Let's do
Get them
that.
transferred over there.
Maybe move them over there.
You know, like I said, if they, you know, if they're just running a couple people at a time.
There's not many people there. I've never seen more than 6 cars, 8 cars there at a time, the employees, and I suppose in the event of a natural disaster, you might have a long line of people wanting to donate, but
No, I'm just talking, if you got 6 employees, you're only gonna have, what, Riley, 4 parking spots over there when it's done?
I believe it was 4, unless we
it's
did.
daytime, so
Right.
that's
They
why
could
the
use-
sidewalk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to use, yeah, you could do it.
Yeah, the employees could park here and
Yeah, just leave the parking.
We could add parking on the side of the building. There's tentative space to drive through there. With the setbacks and stuff, you might get like 6 spots along the side of the building at a cost of a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't think you wanna do that.
Okay. Anyway, we can address that later, but right now, give them use of facilities every other month until we
Yeah,
get it rectified.
yeah, and tell them we're looking into maybe
Yeah.
changing buildings, and which may give more.
Mine was a motion, that may have been a second, I'm not sure.
Is that second, PJ?
Yeah, I'll second that, and we'll work on the logistics. Yep.
PJ,
Yep.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes. Okay. Now we have the resolution of necessity for the road levy. Do we have that out here somewhere?
PJ, you have that?
I don't have the original. I've got a copy right here. Yeah, I have a copy, but I don't know the original.
No, that's for the truck. That's for a truck. Is that the one you want?
This is for the truck, we're looking for is for the road levy.
That's this one here. That's the bottom.
If he wants to read it. Yeah, PJ, you wanna? Oh, sure. Take that.
Thank you. Okay, Board of Trustees met in regular session on July 6th, 2026, all present. We'll come back and fill in those things there. I'll read it first for the people here. Board has received the certification from the county auditor pursuant to RC 5705.03B2. Amount of taxes which may be raised within the 10 mil limitation will be insufficient to provide an adequate amount for necessary requirements of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio. Be it resolved by the board, Geauga County has determined the amount of taxes which may be raised within the 10 mil limitation by levies on the current tax duplicate will be insufficient to provide adequate amount for necessary requirements of Auburn Township. It's necessary to levy a tax in excess of the limitation for the purpose of ORC 5705.19G, general construction, reconstruction, resurfacing, and repair of streets, roads, and bridges in municipal corporations, counties, or townships, in Auburn Township. as provided by the ORC. The rate is 1 mil for each $1 of taxable value, which amounts to $20 per each $100,000 of county auditor's market value for a period of 5 years, and is a renewal levy of existing 1 mil levy, first voted on in 2008. Ballot measures shall be submitted to the entire township and levied on the entire township within Geauga County. It's going to be on the ballot on November 3rd, 2026. Shall first be levied in 2027, first collection year 2028. Let's see. Fiscal Officer of Auburn Township, he is hereby directed to certify a copy of this resolution along with the resolution 57503B2 to the Board of Elections on or before August 5th by 4 p.m. Notify said Board of Elections to cause notice of election on question of levying said tax to be given as required by law. Okay, that's the resolution, that's the most of it, and I will make a motion to adopt that.
Second?
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes. Okay, and you wanna?
That's it.
Budget resolution?
Yeah, as we already discussed in the budget hearing, Resolution 2026-08, adopting the budget of Auburn Township for fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2027. The Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, met in regular session on the 6th day of July, 2026. All trustees were present. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that it is necessary to adopt the following. The Auburn Township budget for the fiscal year 2027 is hereby adopted as presented on the financial worksheet attached hereto and made part of this resolution. So I need a motion and a second.
So moved?
Second.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
and Michael.
Yes.
Okay, and in order to have all the funds available to issue a purchase order for the purchase of our new vehicle that we hope comes next month hopefully next month.
Yeah, I hope so.
Resolution 2026-09 for reallocation of funds. The Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio met in regular session on the 6th day of July, 2026. All trustees present. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that the following permanent reallocation of funds are necessary per prior resolution back on 2023-35 for the establishment of a capital project fund for the purpose of the acquisition of a single axle dump truck with plow pursuant to and is allowed by Ohio Revised Code 5705.13C. Whereas it is the desire of the board to authorize an inter-fund transfer of $55,427 from the Gasoline Tax Fund 2021 to be certified into the Miscellaneous Capital Projects Fund 4903. Need a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second?
PJ?
Yes.
Michael? Or
Yes.
Riley? Michael?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry. Okay, we already did the rep appointments, right?
Yep. Okay, public comment.
Wait, let me get one more thing, because it was something I went over while I had a minute here. Dan, they're working from the original bid price of $1,207,000, which was their bid. So any of these overages we talked about earlier are going to be added to the back end. So this payment, and this just came in today, so this is why, I think maybe we can address it tonight and get them a check. 'Cause they're gonna bother you for a check. They're not gonna wait 2 weeks for a check. I know how this works. So this is from the Geauga County Engineer, Auburn Township, 2026 various roads resurfacing. Enclosed, please find documents related to the payment of the referenced invoice. This office recommends payment in the amount of $733,206.50 to Phillips Paving LLC. Invoices for work completed on the project through June 30th, 2026. Certified payroll reports received to date are enclosed. This is not the final invoice. Should you have any questions regarding this invoice or items included, let me know. That's Jacob Scotisa, he's a deputy engineer. I'm gonna make a motion that we go with the engineer's recommendation to pay this initial invoice. Dan, get him a check and Riley, you're in town. We'll get him paid.
I'll second.
They're not gonna wait 2 weeks, is what I'm getting at. Thank you.
Well, what about that additional amount? Is that included in the?
It is not, no, they're working from, and as I said, this includes work completed through June 30th. They just did this.
Oh, okay.
Repair job, so it's not included in this.
Want to get them paid, I don't want to come back repossessing our road.
Yeah, they get a little antsy. And so do their subcontractors, that's how it goes. So we got a motion and a second?
Yep.
Motion, PJ?
I did, I made the motion.
My second.
Do you guys want to go over that? Go ahead.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes. Okay. Public comment.
With regard to your favorite topic.
Hard to imagine.
If I understood what you read from the prosecutor, just want to point out that, well, you really didn't say anything other than couldn't find case law specific to the resolution. Doesn't mean there's not case law. And must be done uniformly, which is correct in my view. Noise is noise. Somebody running a leaf blower 8 hours, that can be objectionable if someone complains, like Frank said. Doesn't make any difference what the source of noise is. It has constant and has to be objected to. And I guess I would like to request of the trustees that you release both the question to the prosecutor and the prosecutor's response. I don't know if you need a motion to do that, or if there's some legal aspect
I think we
that
did.
makes that
Didn't
problematic.
we do that?
The response, not the question.
Oh.
Pardon?
What's the question?
Well, the question was sent a month ago, or whatever it was.
He's asking for both the question
Oh.
and the response,
Well,
correct?
let's look it up here. Still trying to make peace with the email that they made me have instead of my AOL. Okay. Around here somewhere. You dug it out quicker than I did. I know you had the answer quicker than I did, but you didn't have the question.
Yeah, we kind of devised the question here at a regular meeting, 2 meetings ago, maybe 3, and then tonight we, shared the response.
Oh, I know why we're not finding it. Because it went through admin, didn't go directly. That's why we're having problems looking.
Motion for the adoption.
Yeah, because I was looking at it before, and it was just,
Yeah.
These computers.
Christine had
Don't necessarily need
forwarded
it
it.
right now.
Email and computers are so much more efficient. Used to be we would print these out and I'd give you mine.
I didn't
So-
write it down,
All right.
that motion. What was that one?
You want me to read it? I just pulled it up. Or
Okay.
we just want to agree to
The
send
last one
it.
was 2020.
Depends how interested everybody is. I know the dead horse and all that, but
2020.
Anybody?
So
Go ahead and read it.
You're asking a legal question to legal authority, it's important to have exactly what was asked.
Which one was that for?
2026-07
I don't have.
How come you just couldn't attach the
for the
document
road.
of the question and the response
For
to
the
the
levy, for the
minutes
levy.
as it was requested? You know,
yeah,
that way.
And all
it'll be
this can be
public
ran
view
through
and
just-
It's not all hearsay.
to be honest, it can all be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to.
It's gonna be in the minutes, because we read it tonight, so.
At the Board of Trustee meeting last night, we agreed to see if you would be so kind to give us some clarification on a section in our zoning. The background is that a resident wants to ride his dirt bike or dirt bikes and even build a track for them. The main recurring issue that neighbors are questioning is noise.
Need a motion. and Mike.
Our zoning inspector agreed last night that Auburn does not have a measurable noise resolution for residential areas. There is, however, section 3.025 that is in question. As it reads, the below statement is ambiguous in nature and there is no measurable or quantifiable means to apply this statement. What are your thoughts? That is, can zoning enforce this statement as it's written towards a dirt bike versus a leaf blower, for example? If this statement is not enforceable, should it be revised or removed? And the statement is, or the provision is attached for review. And that was it.
Just like it, part of a record.
Yeah, so we can just, you can, I don't know, it really depends. With technology today, you could just take all of this stuff and run it through as a PDF, and we could start doing that with all these things that, my goal, and I'm behind, I admit, I'm sorry. If I can get all this organized ahead of time as PDFs, as we're discussing them, I can just put them up there, and then everybody can read along, so you're not trying to remember everything. By next meeting,
And I appreciate that.
I will have that done. That really was the goal. There's just a lot going on, so I didn't get it done tonight. And there's still, we're not at the end. There's still two things I don't want you guys to forget that we have to go over. I'll do this one here. Is that good for you for now?
Good enough.
Okay.
For now.
Does everybody have this from the Department of Aging? The maintenance supervisor, Josh Burton, wrote a really nice letter to the road crew. Here.
Yeah.
I don't know who has it.
It's a thank you from the
Yeah.
commissioner's letterhead, but it's for the senior pickup. Department of Aging, the seniors we serve, I wish to express our appreciation for holding the senior trash pickup. During the pickup, your road crew helped 100-plus seniors remove unwanted items from their garages and yards, which they couldn't lift or remove themselves. The road crew had the entire pickup planned before we arrived, and were very helpful and courteous with each senior, and they were. We appreciate the trustees and road department's commitment to helping local seniors, and we'll continue to do that on into next year's cleanup day event or events or whatever we end up doing. So that's nice of them to acknowledge that. And Riley, this is up at the park, right? This is, yeah, that's around the septic.
So I will make a motion in a second, but to fill you in at a cost of $1,386.85. JFD Landscapes, who does all of our landscaping, has quoted to add screen topsoil, seed, and straw around the septic area and the west side of the building. This is at our community park. The rough grading was finished a few weeks ago from the installer. Now it's just getting it all back to looking like it's not there. So that is the proposed agreement here that to get that fixed. Mr. Fenstermaker went and got that done. So I will motion at that cost of $1,386.85 to have that work completed.
Yep, needs done. I'll second it.
PJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Maybe we'll get some actual rain, because it's hard to grow grass over a septic tank. It really is, because there's no water stays there, because there's no sub moisture to get to it. I found that out at home, so.
Well, I found out my septic system was built in clay, so,
But just over the tank, and it grows pretty good out in the field,
yeah,
but,
well, the tank itself, not so much.
You could sign, I'll give that official one to Dan, you could sign it too. That is it.
Okay, any other public comment?
On behalf of the Boy Scouts, we want to thank the fire department for use of their house on 4th of July for the picnic, and the trustees for your promotion and the community for attending. It was a little warm that day.
Yeah, you guys did a good job as always.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the fire department and the scouts.
A lot of entries in the parade. It was good.
My brat was good. Okay, any other comments? Okay, then we'll go to say the date. 7/14, the BZA meeting at the admin building at 7 PM. 7/16, public hearing, ZC 2026-01 at the admin building at 7 PM. Also at 7/16, the zoning commission regular meeting following the public hearing. 7/20, Board of Trustees regular meeting here at 7 o'clock. And then again on 8/3. 8/19, we have the Red Cross Blood Drive at Adam Hall from 10 AM to 3 PM. And then 9/26 will be the fire department clam bake. Contact the fire department for details. All right. On that note, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
I will second the motion.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes. Hey, got you to bed in a reasonable hour.
Thank you.
I kept seeing, but it goes much past 8:30, you start giving me the lightning bolts.
They said they're in, I just.
Oh, if she said they're here, they're here.
I think I'm wandering back over to IMS tomorrow morning. Talking about Frank said he's
In and out. You guys go through this drawings,
Oh,
Huh? Requisition forms, the ones that are in duplicate. Thanks for signing.
I'm gonna try and.
I think I might have sent them there. They're here, I think they're here.
Yeah, you haven't signed.
brother, but it's not.